Back. Let's talk about our New Year's resolutions and why they're so hard to keep, James.
Yeah, well, we're halfway through January, right? And a lot of studies will say that about a third of us have already given up. It's easy to see why.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not doing so great with mine. With so much happening nationally and in our personal lives, it can be really hard. One, you got to stay positive. You have to stay focused on achieving your goals. It's a lot.
It is a lot. And to help us stay on track and maybe keep mental, wellness front of mind is psychologist Barb McGee. And Dr. McGee, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great to be here.
As Reyna mentioned.
Yeah, happy to talk about this.
We're at a time right now where people are finding it really difficult to stay focused on their own personal health when we get so much bombarding us around the world. Yeah. Literally.
Well, focus is so important. You mentioned it, both mentioned it, right? And when we're bombarded by the world and by experiences that we're having in our lives, it's very hard to stay focused. And then we all know that like the phone is also designed to take our focus away. So it's very easy to get lost in all of the swirl of chaos of what's happening. So I think that's number one, is to be able to regain one's focus and be able to center on yourself.
I mean, it can be so hard to center yourself. What are some things people can do to just kind of strip away all the distractions?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of like practical things you can do, but number one, I think it's important, first of all, to recognize the importance of focusing on oneself and being able to actually pay attention, to be able to look inside, to remember that we need to, if we're going to make a resolution, it needs to be aligned with what we care about in the world. And that might mean, what are our values inside, what's important to our community, what's important to others in our lives. So staying focused in that way already takes you away from what's happening out there in the world.
I like to put together this information on the screen so people can follow along, because you're really hitting kind of that first bullet point. We're just reframing.
Yes, absolutely. Right. I mean, a lot of mental health and mental wellness is reframing, right? Because we can get easily into certain patterns of thinking that we need to be able to recognize and then actually say, hey, do I want to keep going in that direction? Right? We know what it's like to have a negative thinking spiral, right? Or assume certain things, and then we just follow it and follow it. And it's important to be able to take a breath, take a break, or actually literally get up and walk outside. I mean, that can be like things that actually break your cycle
of negative thinking.
Yeah.
I like the second bullet point. I don't know if we can put that back up on the screen.
Reframing, making them smaller.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Yeah, making them realistic. I mean, there it is on the screen. Make resolutions smaller, kinder, and more relational.
Well, I think it's important to think about it too, that it's also about the journey. So for example, let's say I say, oh, I'm going to drive to Denver. I need to get there. It's really important. If I get there, it's going to be really great. Well, wait, my car's 20 years old. I haven't serviced it in a year. Oh, I don't have snow tires. Like thinking about if you actually focused on, oh, I actually just need to get my car in really good shape. That would feel really good. And then it's like, oh, well, I could go to Denver. I could drive to Phoenix. I can go anywhere. So I mean, that's sort of an analogy.
They make them a lot more achievable too.
Exactly. So So all of those smaller things lead to being able to have the capacity to get there. That's much better.
I like that. It's more so about the journey, not the destination. Being kind as you're trying to get there.
That's right.
We talk about isolation. I mean, it's so big. I mean, you're behind these screens on social media. Why is it so important to try to reach out to people and build a community?
Well, isolation, we know, is one of the main problems of our time. People have become much more isolated.
We're past the pandemic, but a lot of people emotionally still aren't.
That's right. And it even goes before the pandemic. Over the years, people have become less involved in their communities. So I think we are social creatures. We're social beings. It is not healthy to live in isolation. And a screen is no replacement.
Say the smartphone.
It's really just not. But it's very addictive. We know that the algorithms are designed to pull us in. They trigger That's right. They trigger dopamine. They keep us hooked, really, and in negative. I mean, most of that is negative. So, connecting to others. like really thinking about, well, who in my life do I care about? Do I want to spend more time with? What kinds of community organizations might I want to get involved with? You know, we live in a wonderful community here in the Bay Area. There's so many good things that people are doing.
You also mentioned with people feeling a little rusty about getting out and meeting people. It can be a little scary meeting and making connections. How do you get
That's
over the
a
fear
good point.
of that?
So be kind to yourself. Back to that, right? Start with saying, oh, I know it's scary. Okay, well, again, take it slow. Don't expect too much, you know. Don't make your first outing a huge, overwhelming party. You know?
And then
maybe it's dinner with a friend. I mean, you know, keep it simple.
And on the flip side of that, with the kindness thing, maybe don't beat yourself up so badly if you stumble on this journey to achieve these goals. A lot of people, especially when it comes to like weight loss or trying to get more just physically in shape, the minute they stumble, they just go into the spiral of, see, this is why I don't do, I'm the worst at this.
Great insight. This is a very important insight. That's right. I mean, it's very easy to beat ourselves up, right? And also to compare, it's easy to compare ourselves to others. Like imagine, oh, well, somebody else would be able to do this. Oh, so therefore I'm
why
not
we
as
think
good.
that? Because we see everybody's highlight reel on all of these social media streams, and you think that's the standard I need to live myself.
It is not.
No, our culture is set up to do that, and so we have to remember that. And again, that gets back to saying, no, 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 it's hard for everyone to meet these goals. Like, you know?
Yeah.
I like that you say we should center our goals on finding value, our own value, and meaningful goals. So how do you go about trying to weigh out what's superficial, what's more meaningful?
Yeah, well, I think that's, I mean, I think you want to really take a personal inventory, really sit down with yourself and say, well, what really is important to me? What do I really care about? What are the things in the world that I care about? Who's important to me? Those kinds of things, and really try to articulate that. And I would do it with a friend. Kill two birds there, right? Do something a little more social. Talk to somebody about that.
That's a really deep, like, discussion you have to have with yourself, identifying what really is valuable to you, honestly, and not what you perceive is valuable to you based on all the, you know, suggestions and influencers around you trying to tell you what you should value.
What is the world telling me versus what do I really care about?
Because that is the path probably to an authentic happiness from inside.
If anybody's watching today, and if there's one thing you want them to take away from trying to be kind in your resolutions, what would it be?
Well, another thing to be aware of is that help is out there. You know, like when you were saying, like some people might struggle more with these kinds of things or feel more isolated or even depressed. You know, therapy can be really helpful, and it's good to reach out before things get bad. The number one reason that people don't reach out is because it's expensive or they don't have good insurance coverage. There are affordable resources in the Bay Area. We have a lot of places in the Bay Area where you can get help.
In fact,
you guys, I think,
we
have some
prepared
resources
on our website, and I think we can bring up the QR code. Really is important for you to scan this if you need help. As Dr. McGee was just saying, there is a lot of free resources available to you, and we put a lot of that together on on our website, and this QR code will take you right to that. That and just the whole idea of trying to make 2026, we were talking off camera beforehand, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, our country right now, and our local communities right now that are really pulling at us emotionally, pulling all these different levers that come out as fear, come out as anxiety, come out. So I think spending this year trying to focus on what you're talking about is going to be hugely
and those
important.
things we could make us feel powerless, right? We don't have power over many of those things, but we can affect change in ourselves and in the community around us, and that actually can be where we want to start.
Very powerful. Dr. McGee, thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm sure people at home are watching, and these are things they needed to hear. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle to yourself.
And I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to be talking to you more throughout the year, so I'll extend the invitation now.
Happy to be back.
To come back.
All right.
Very good.